Hey everybody, welcome to episode 148 of the Bonehead podcast. We talk all things Blood Bowl. And jingle. Welcome back. I'm Ben, and once again I'm joined by Blood Type Ben. BT, how you doing?
I'm doing very good, thank you. Just getting up for today's topic on my browser. Very organised.
Yeah, sorry. We stopped doing show notes a while ago, which is surprising because we have Trips now, who is a bit of an organisational fiend and is actually present. We are joined by the Highlander himself, Ian Triple Power Triplo. Trips, how you doing today?
I'm very good, thank you very much.
Oh, I feel like I queued you up for that one.
Oh,
there can be only one.
The Highlander himself, because there can be only ones. I can't remember who called you that in chat on one of the streams, but that was wicked.
It stuck very quickly.
Oh yes, that was bang on the money. And talking of things that are sticking, Milton isn't going to be on the podcast today because he decided to get a bus somewhere, and we assume he is still on it. Stuck to the seats.
Heard from him since.
Yeah, no, never seen. And before you ask in the comments, no, it wasn't a prison bus.
But it may feel like one.
Yeah.
The White Fairy branding has changed since I remember.
Yeah, I think it's the Unilink Southampton bus. Anyway, other than public transport and Milton, what are we talking about today, BT?
We're just going to be talking about the new Chaos Dwarf Star players that they revealed. I believe 2 of 3.
2 of 3, indeed.
Yeah, we could just go, we've seen a bit of information. We haven't got the full stats breakdown, just off what we've seen on Warhammer Community. But it's looking pretty exciting.
Yeah, we're going to talk through both the stars. We're going to look at their stats from the last edition and what we know from the articles there. But before we do that, we're going to go and talk about the Bonehead Championship. So this is a spoiler alert. We have finished the regular season. We're going into the playoffs. There's going to be 2 semi-finals over the next couple of weeks, then the grand final. So we're going to talk about that first, the teams, the matchups, what we think is going to happen. So your spoiler alert is now. Skip the next segment if you haven't watched this week's game. If you haven't watched this week's game, please go back and watch it because it was fantastic. And I tell you what, let's do a little quick hobby roundup first as well. Okay, hobby, games played, things bought, printed, painted even. What's occurring? Anybody done anything? Probably not, Ben.
I haven't heard these lines in a long time. It's like the games played, what's painted. It feels like it's been years. Maybe it has been a year. Games played little, apart from the Bonehead Championship.
Games played, just one a week.
yeah, it kind of is where it's at now. But yeah, painting, I can always cover that. Currently working through two brush-type orders, which are quite old orders now, but that is an indication of how large my backlog is right now. But yeah, I'm working through a Death Guard army, which I think I spoke about a little while back, but it's really cool. And done all the Marines. Terminators are 60-70% done now. And there's a lot going on. It's the models, I haven't actually ever painted them before, but they are so good.
Are they
I think they're some of the
push fit ones, or are they
No, these are the kits.
Oh, the full kits. Amazing. Because I know they did a load of the Plague Marine stuff in the Conquest magazine. I don't know what it was called. It wasn't Conquest, but it might have been Conquest.
Yeah, I think they might be the same models, but on a different sprue or something. Because
it's from the Dark Imperium box set when it came out.
Oh yeah, okay. I think there's a couple of them because I think they resold them as expansions.
They're cracking models. They're fantastic. They were so good. Really good.
They're so unique. It's something I love about them. A lot of Marine armies sort of look the same because they're Marines. But with Death Guard, because of all the mutations, it's they are so unique. And the Terminators are awesome. Each one has a different sort of pattern of armor from eons back.
And they're organic knights.
Yeah, exactly.
You get the big burly armor with a whole bunch of organic textures. So as a painter, they are Nurgle stuff is always a ton of fun. And that's, I'm not just saying that because obviously you get to use Agrax and other shades at the same time. So therefore I'm happy.
I've actually been using new oils on them. So I've been
Ooh.
trying out these. They're from AK, I think. They're the 502 Abteilung, which are a little bit, Wehrmacht, but they
Appetite.
they're
Does that mean warning?
no, that's Achtung.
Oh yeah.
Abteilung, I think, is like, I think it was like a unit in
Oh, it means
German
department.
military. Yeah, there you go. I think
not
they've taken that name off of it now, because that plus the font is a little bit like you're buying it, you're just like, but they're really good, and I've been using them, and they've been a huge upgrade to the old oils I was using, which were like the student Winsor and Newton ones. I think these ones, like the Winton oil color.
Yeah.
Pretty cheap, well, very cheap, and they last a long time. So it's good to start off with, but they were breaking up a little bit over large projects. So I've got some proper ones that are really nice, and they've come out really, really, really rich on these models, which is really good fun.
I've used
so
some
it's
of
made all,
the
like,
some of the Payne's Grey on a couple of models before, and I did the effort you have to go to making it. I didn't find it quite so significantly better than just like a null oil, but it was probably what I was working on, and potentially
yeah,
the way I've made
maybe.
it.
Payne's Grey over white is nice, and it's, I think, a little bit better now.
That's what I tried a
Mm.
couple of different times, and I was like, yeah. I've moved to now, and Warhammer's suggestion is I mixed it up using I borrowed a Nurofen syringe, and by borrowed I mean just
nice.
took out the drawer, and I was like, right, I can use this as pipette, and did a 50-50 mix of sepia and Lamium medium. I was like, right, this is going to be my new over whitewash, and it's fine.
That's pretty good.
It's fine.
It's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you've got like a little dropper then, haven't you?
No, wicked. Love the Death Guard.
Yeah. So yeah, that as well. So I'm just going to keep rambling for a bit until I'm done. That plus I'm also working on some squigs for Brute Fun.
Yes.
So I'm doing 2 projects at a time, because it kind of like breaks it up a little bit.
The Troll King
stick on this
himself.
a little bit. Yeah, so he's also just released his Snotlings, which I'm going to be doing as part of it as well, because sort of in the same scheme. But yes, like they're really good. I did like a test model for them, and then I've got that plan mapped out with my little app.
What's the scheme? Is it just classic Night Goblins?
It's yellow squigs, black robes, purple accents. Yeah, it's quite classic Night Goblin.
Yellow squigs.
Yellow squigs.
That's not classic.
So well, okay, sorry. The goblins are pretty classic. Classic, I know, is red, but the yellow is really nice with like the purple and black. So.
Oh, fantastic.
What's wrong with yellow squigs are classic, aren't they? I think all squigs can be any color, right?
Well, I mean, the classic squig would be red, because that's what they classically. Yeah, they were just red. Like,
oh, okay. I thought they could be like various colors.
When it went into like 5th and 6th, they started just painting them all sorts, and they should be painted all sorts. Absolutely. I completely agree. I completely agree. That is not a small amount of hobby, BT.
Yeah, it's work now, so it's
That's true. That's true. I'm not going to talk about my work. Trips. Any hobby bits for you?
Very little, because we have a new puppy, so I've been mainly trying to keep my fingers reattached to my hands, and not have any hobby disappear into said puppy. Isn't the way to go. So I've done a little bit of painting on some ambots for a future
this weekend.
So they will be grey and a little bit of colour. Based yet to do that. That'll be done before the weekend. And I did purchase the Van Saar Munda Gang, and it's still in the box behind me, sealed.
Not the Tech Hunters, or
the Tech Hunters. Yeah.
Fantastic, wicked. I mean, that's plenty of hobby. You also brought around 3 massive boxes of terrain that you'd all painted up ready for our OPR weekend, which is fantastic. And that's the hobby I've been doing, is setting up the room, resetting up the room with all of our terrain and stuff, because we've got another OPR day on Saturday where we're going to be playing a whole bunch of the sci-fi skirmish. Then we've played the core battle game, and we would have played the skirmish game, and then we can kind of like, we've seen all aspects of it then. Sci-fi one, fantasy the other. I love it, absolutely love it. Other than that, I mean, I've been printing a load of stuff, because, well, actually I haven't printed for a few days. Today is the first day in a couple of days I've been printing things, and that's orders. That's orders stuff. But I did get a couple of test pieces for some future terrain, so some Space Hulk stuff. I've just been letting my creativity run recently, and it's been a lot of fun, which has been
You've
very,
sort of been
very cool.
deciding, like, if an idea comes in your head, you're just like, yeah, I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
Try it out.
Yeah.
That kind of attitude.
There's nothing like, I have an idea. To my mini factory, to the printer. 2 hours later, ta-da!
Yeah, it's very cool, and lots and lots and lots of spray painting. I'm really pleased with the terrain. It's not finished, not by a long shot. It's not going to be finished by the weekend, and that's fine. But I've made a lot of it, and it's very cool. And it's like, okay, it's at the point where I'm like, if we want to finish this for doing content or anything, it's not going to take long to finish. Or I can sit, like yesterday I was on a call, I did some walls, like for fantasy battle, just because I was like, right, this call is very boring. So I got the dry brush out, just dry brush some walls, did some glue in and some flock. It's good. But yeah, much to your point, like I've got a philosophy at the moment, which is because I was poorly the other week. When I was not poorly, I was like, right, I'm going to go and do as much as I can do before I get poorly again. And I haven't been poorly, so it's been good. It's been productive.
Good.
That's my new game plan now. Is like, right, if I'm around, I'm going to do something, which I think is useful. Because we've got this big looming thing coming over us, which is the Chorf release. Ben, you have lent us your Punga team with a couple of extra little add-ons ready to represent the new positionals.
Glued some knives to some hobgoblins, yeah.
Which is very, very, very cool. So, I mean, Trips, do you think they'll spoil the roster in the same way they did Gnomes?
I hope they do, but we're not seeing anything yet. I would imagine if they're going to do it, it might be after the pre-order preview drops.
Yeah, do you reckon they're wary of the fact that third parties can swoop in and?
True. I mean, it did generate a lot of good hype last time because people could actually talk about how you would play them in detail. So I'd love to see them drop the preview article, then drop the stats in the week before the pre-order, and we can see what they look like on the pitch then.
So I am obviously very excited to see the full roster. And last time when they did it with Gnomes, we got to play some games. Like that was the absolute peak, beautifully painted by Ben, beautifully sculpted by me and Hero Forge. Gnome team.
Oh yeah,
that we got out. Now that we're prepared this time, so Ben's done some great work getting the Chaos Dwarf team ready so that when and if they do spoil the roster, we're good to go. We don't have to wait for the Games Workshop one. I did email their marketing team again. I was like, hi, every time you release something from Blood Bowl, we have to use third-party miniatures. Please let us, please send us the team so we can paint it early. And I have had no response. So at least I tried. At least I tried. I was like, okay, fine. We'll just use the beautiful Punga team then that people are going to look at and go, I might as well just order that right now. So let's assume the preview goes on 15th and then their pre-order 21st, and then it's a 2-week window, Trips?
Yeah, 2-week window for everything now. So
yeah, October the 5th. So I don't know if they'll spoil the whole roster this time. I don't.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, they've never done it before Gnomes.
No.
So everyone had to wait for the spike and desperately playing screen grab from the spike as everyone reviewed it.
Guerrilla Miniatures Games.
Yeah, we might see that, right? The potato can pick. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually prefer it that way. In fact, I would prefer it if they had changed the embargo so that they couldn't show off stuff until it was like the day it was out. I just think it would be a much more exciting sort of like, oh, I want to get my order so I can also see what's new, as opposed to like, oh, things go up on pre-order and I've read it. All right.
Yeah.
And it makes that difference with it being 2 weeks, because I think we saw it a couple ago when we both ordered Munda stuff. I can't actually remember what else was in the order.
I forgot what I'd ordered. Like 2 weeks is a very long time. It's like it's not a long time, but it also really, really, really is when you're like, oh, exciting, let's order this, and then it's just like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. Like, yes, that's still down there. And the reason I asked about whether they were push fit Death Guard, Ben, is because the Games Workshop kits these days, with the like 4 billion pieces per each of the model, are significantly challenging.
I've been building. I guess I kind of mentioned it. This is a battle for Siege, and I'm having to magnetize Paragon war suits, and there are so many parts, and especially when you're like magnetizing, it's like I had to get 3 mil by 0.5 mil magnets, which are minuscule. because there's like per war suit, there's like 50 parts. I'm not even kidding. It's insane. Like a sprue.
I believe
Like
that.
this is one suit.
Yeah.
One.
This is why I'm a
Ooh.
little nervous about building the Munda stuff. It's like, it's going to take... I still haven't finished building the policeman. There were so many pieces. The Spirers are a little bit different because each one of them is like a unique, like its own thing. So it's not like there's... I'm going to feel a bit better about that. But that's still... I'm scared to look at how many pieces per Spirer.
It is
Yeah,
a
it'll be a
little bit
lot.
like a lesson in anatomy, and the finger bone connects to the hand bone, and the hand bone connects to the wrist bone, and the wrist bone connects to the arm bone, and the arm bone
The
doesn't
last
fit in.
few Games Workshop kits haven't been quite like the Vampire kit was really good. Like
It was good,
that
actually,
was a
yeah.
good one. I still haven't built my gnomes because I watched YouTube do it at a tournament, and I was like, no, I'm probably just good for now.
Some bits are fine. The Beastmasters are quite a lot, and the Illusionists are quite a lot.
I mean,
Yeah.
they pay off because the models look brilliantly fun.
Yeah.
It's when you've got like 1,000 of the same soldier that's got 1,000 pieces. It's like, oh yeah, 1-page rules. Let's print these combined models that just come off.
It does make printing just real. Like the amount of time saved is insane. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a real thing. But I tell you what, talking about games played, let's have a quick break and talk about the finals for the Bonehead Championship. Because this is the bit where there are spoilers, so if you haven't watched the last couple of games, skip this bit. We got through to the finals, and the last game was a rip roarer.
Yeah.
What was it? Turn 15, turn 16. That extra bonus point trips.
Yeah, turn 15 to determine the playoffs, and once again another one of our games that went down to a turn 16 roll to determine the win, lose, draw result.
I remember when Vampires came out, I was really, really big on the Vargeist. I thought he was awesome. And then, like, as I did like more competitive games, I realized, I thought maybe it's not in the maybe the Varg isn't really worth it because you're paying a lot for the Vamps and they tend to do more stuff. That game's completely changed my mind back to how I started because he was insane, that Thrall Chewer.
Thrall Chewer, yeah, especially that one turn with one removal and also a Thrall chewed at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah.
He did some good stuff, and it is looking like he's getting the fan favorite as well, which means he's going to go into this next game with Block, Claw, Mighty Blow, and
so good.
and a nega trait that he cannot fail, assuming that. Well, I mean, even if he fails, he still gets to make his blitz or block, right? So
he's a better Bloodspawn, and he's got better armor. Yeah,
the Bloodspawn 9+.
Yeah,
that's ridiculous. It's massive.
Yeah, it hurts when they get fouled.
Oh wow. Okay. All right. That's some counterplay there.
But they never get back up again.
Yeah, it's kind of true.
But no, the last game was Vampires versus Amazons, and it was a heck of a game. And the result of that being that the Vampires snuck through into the playoffs, into the 4th spot, knocking out the Bucks. So the Bucks, the Black Orc team are out, the Tempest, the Amazon team are out. Norse were trashed this season. They had 3 bad games, essentially. They're out. Gnomes, bless them, had no chance. Gnome chance, if you will. They're all gone. And the top 4 are Lizards, number 1. OWA, number 2. Comeback Craig doing a solid job there of sneaking in an extra couple of points with that team. Goblins, 3rd. Warhammer has kind of taken control of that. I mean, we made him paint it, so it only seems fair. I was like, do us a favour, Ian, can you pick this team? Yeah, do us a favour, Ian, can you play this team repeatedly for us? Oh, okay. And quality as well. And then the 4th place will be the Vampires going in. So the next game is going to be Lizards versus Vampires, and the game after that will be a rematch, OWA versus Goblins, with Craig, Raisin Horse himself, and Ian Warham. So we're going to see an exact rematch of round 2 with Goblins versus OWA, and 2 people who've been playing war games with each other for 25 years, which is always entertaining. And then this week we are going to see top place Lizards take 4th place Vampires, which is also a rematch of round 1. And looking at the vote, it's going to be a rematch with Trips running Lizards and BT running the Vampires. How do you guys feel about the matchup?
Yeah, I think it was fair. I think
I'm looking forward to seeing it. I think both teams have changed significantly with the skilling up and detail. Having played Vamps on Monday, I mean, Vamp skills all go into the vampire positionals, and that dramatically changed the feel of them.
Yeah.
So it'll be fun. If I am playing with the lizards, it'll be nice to have non-thrall linemen. So you spend the entire time as vampire coach praying that your thralls don't die, as opposed to worrying about what your vampires are doing.
Which is what Ben targeted this week, which I thought with a few armor breaks and injury rolls were a little soft on the
A lot of
Anderson side.
sevens. Yeah.
A lot of sevens, which is no good. Which I thought was a solid strategy. But the vampires this time around are going to go in with 14 players, including 5 vampires and 4 rerolls. So they are kitted up, and with probably a block mighty blow Varg, a dodge vamp, a pro vamp. Like, they're in a much better place with actual resources. But your lizards are going to be, I think, 12 players because they've got their skinks back. Yoshi's going to be back. They've got the skinks, and they've got like 4 Blocksaurus and a guard Croxagore. So it's 2 chunky teams, and it's going to be a very different matchup because they're both around 1300 TV. And when you're playing 1 million, tier 1 and tier 2 are different tiers. At 1300, things start to level out a bit, right, Ben? So
Yeah, it's like they've actually got tricks now. And yeah, those Saurus are going to be hard to shift. Like, if it was early on, I think like the Varg is still going to be a massive threat, especially to the Crocs and the 2 non-blocked ones. But like them now having block against him is going to be significantly safer because he threatens them big time.
just don't roll 7s, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I think we're gonna see can either of the big guys make a significant difference? Because if one of them has a good game and one of them has a bad game, that's gonna tilt the table significantly. Or they could just cancel each other off and slowly wander off to the sideline, which might also
Yeah.
The Gorn
what's
has
nice
been
actually
solid all
is-
season as well. Like the Gorn,
Yes, he has.
the Crocs has got to be one of the top few big guys in the actual game, if not the best vanilla big guy.
Yeah. I think he might be the main priority to try and remove, because the good thing with vampires is that you can play them and arguably to play them better as an agility team.
Yeah.
And that Crocs is going to be a real menace with Tail if he's getting in place. So
PHT and Bonehead. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I think the kickoff role is going to be massive for this one because I can see both of you having a pretty strong alpha strike. You know, if the Varg can get in there with a couple of strength 4 blitzers as well, maybe, you know, sweep around, take out a couple of skinks. It's going to be like a similar strategy, I think, for you, Ben, like to try and take out the skinks. Because once the skinks are gone from a lizard team, it's bad news bears, but Trips is going to have 7 murder pieces. And that's...
you only really need 1 skink.
Yeah. I'm really excited for that. So we've got that game coming up first. Then we've got Goblins versus OWA. OWA have got a bit of tackle now. I don't think the Troll Slayer ended up getting enough SPP to get a level up. I mean, Goblins... Oh, that's right. Goblins went 2-0 up in that game, didn't they, for the first half?
I think so, yeah.
And then OWA brought it, hence comeback Craig, bringing it back to a 2-2 draw. That's a hell of a game. That was a really good game. Craig's got another OWA game under his belt since then. He's got 12 players. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He will have the MVP landing. He's got a guard blitzer, a leader thrower, a tackle dwarf blitzer.
That'll be good.
Catcher's got blodge, and the other dwarf runner's got block. So he's got a few block pieces on there. God, man, I can't believe Dandelion has managed to successfully achieve nothing. He's been great. The Troll Slayer's been brilliant, but just not...
he's always been knocking out players, but he's never been getting any points for it.
That's all he needs. I mean, Troll Slayer with Mighty Blow is just wicked. Not the case for this one, but yeah, so it's going to be a case of OWA trying to pound out the Goblins, and the Goblins are going to have a bit of TV to play with. What's your pick for that match? Goblins or OWA?
I think for me it'll be OWA this time. I think they might pip it. They scale better than Goblins do. Goblins do love an early league, so.
I mean, OWA with a few skills become a bit more reliable, which is a huge get problem with a low TV OWA is that you are a bit stuck for a certain kind of ways to place. But the goblins will always go as far as their secret weapons take them. Secret weapons have a good couple of turns, and it doesn't really matter what you're playing. You're playing
Oh.
sevens against annoyed goblins.
Bang on. There's only 12 players on the OWA roster. If Ian can get a cheeky chainsaw, I mean, he's going to have some TV to play with, so we'll see some bribes. So chainsaw will be Fnatic doing some work. I don't know if he'll bring Bomber. He has painted one, so he's got the option there. I mean, from a tiering point of view, OWA should be able to do it, but I think you're right, Drips. I think if Ian can go ham with his secret weapons again and keep the pressure on, then we could see goblins in the final, which would make Karen happy. It'd make Karen happy. It would be very cool. Obviously, I'm rooting for both of them, and for you two, I think it depends what happens at the beginning of the game. You've both got vulnerabilities in the lineman, and whoever I think can play catch the lineman the best will get the advantage in that first matchup.
I think so.
Yeah, but we've both proved that no matter how well you're doing and where you are in the game, if you roll double skull, or 1-1 or 2-2 on the crucial pickup or
Ball
dodge,
skull.
then it doesn't really matter.
It's Blood Bowl, isn't it? You play for those turns and you take advantage when it happens.
Play to your outs always.
Yeah.
The Lizards are the only undefeated team. They've gone 3-0, so they should be the favourite.
And they scale beautifully as well, so they're scarier than they've ever been.
It's a fun one.
It's a tough game.
I have loved this league.
Watching it, I think planning on not going anywhere is a good idea. Ben and I's I think the last 4 or 5 games have all gone down to a turn 16 roll for the result. So wouldn't be surprised if we head into a turn 17.
Do you know what? I think you might actually be Downosaurus. I need to go back and double check. Varanus died at some point, but I don't know if we've spent the money to replace him. -85, -85, -85. You've bought 3 Sauruses. That means he's on the roster because he's been replaced. So yeah, he's that's fine. I did wonder. I was like, oh dear.
I thought it was a 14.
Yeah, sidestep, chameleon, a frenzy skink, and a dirty player skink as well.
Yeah.
Ooh, dirty player skink. That could be handy.
Goodbye, vampires. Don't bring a star for the love of God, Ben. Or Trips will remove him right quick. But no, the league's been a ton of fun. We've got 3 more games to go for this one. Then we're going to have a week off. Then we're going to try and see if we can fit in a Pro Bowl. So a 7s games with a mixture of the players. That would be quite a fun thing to do. But it depends on when Games Workshop drops those Chaos Dwarfs. Because obviously we want to get a couple of games in on the channel. We've got until November before we start the next season, which is going to be a 7 series. So we've got.
I think we can safely see them before November, right? Like we.
Oh, it's just about when, and I don't want to delay any of our. I don't want to delay any of the finals because it's fun. And obviously we've had a couple of delays already, thanks to my inner ear. And I don't want to do that. Don't want to do that at all. So yeah, no, it's been brilliant so far. Monday Night Blood Bowl is just a highlight for me, and we've had some very cool scores, and very cool stories.
Say exactly the same. I mean, I spend most of the Monday looking forward to the end of the day and the most important bit of it, which is having a lot of fun rolling dice. And I'm hoping the viewers have been enjoying it as much as it has been genuinely to play it, no matter how slightly frustrating some of the dice rolls have been for whoever's suffering the slightly frustrating dice rolls.
All right, fantastic. Right, let's talk Chaos Dwarves. Because we've got Peanut 5. There you go. There's Peanut. This is Trip's new addition to the family. Say hi, Peanut. Oh, she's gorgeous.
Nibbling the mic.
Trying to eat already. Oh yeah, it's really quite funny because the messages you've been sending in chat, I'm like, had to do that for Libby. Had to do that for Libby. And all those people that are like dogs and babies, they are wildly different. I'm like, they are awkward in the same way.
Yeah, it's exactly the same. There's less nappies and everything with a dog happens quicker.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're off to school before you know it.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Right. That was the intermission. Let's talk Chaos Dwarves, and let's go this way with the cameras. There we go. Wicked. So Chaos Dwarves. We've seen 2 of the star players. Only 2 of the star players have been announced. There's a pretty strong feeling that we know who the 3rd star player is going to be based on the fact that the front of the spike says stab,
Shooting.
stomp, and shoot. So we're expecting some semblance of the shooty star. Who's
Mad Eye.
There you
Mad Eye
go.
Moody, whatever his name is.
Zarg, Mad Eye.
Yeah.
Something like that. I'm thinking of the Games Workshop and their stars. They can rebrand them sometimes. Like we saw that with Thorsten Stoutmead. Like it used to be Boomer as
Carla.
Carla and Starla. Yeah, exactly. So the first one we got is Hthark the Unstoppable. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at some of the stats. And when I say some of the stats, we don't have the stats, but there is a website, which, because I was Googling, I was like, right, let's see the 2016 Nuffle Zone. Has got basically that they've copied the stats over from the last edition and put them on there. So in this article for Hthark, we know he's going to be a bull centaur. We know he's going to be expensive. We know he's going to be expensive in the game at 300k. He's got break, tackle, sprint, thick skull, and unstoppable momentum is his special ability. Whenever Hthark performs a blitz action, he may re-roll a single block dice. So before we look at potentially what the rest of the stats might be, according to Nuffle Zone, what are your guys' thoughts on a 300k Bull Centaur star player that can re-roll 1 block dice for the lols whenever he blitzes?
It's the case with a lot of stars. It's like, yeah, it looks awesome, but you realistically ever going to see him?
Yeah.
Because 300 is just a massive price to pay on a team like Chaos Dwarves, which are already going to be expensive.
Well, he can play for Badlands Brawl's team as well.
So you could see him on like Black Orcs.
Yeah, Black Orcs, although they're not really ones for lowballing TV. Goblins, Snotlings. Snotlings with him could be fun, but again, like you've got Skitter kicking around now.
Yeah, I don't think it unlocks really anything for them. Like, yeah, you can blitz and then what?
I think if you want a big guy for a team like that, you've got better options. Like Ripper is the quality option there, and he's cheaper, and you still get a strength 5 lad, and he's not much slower. That's not fair. He is, but you know, Bull Centaur.
And because of the price of him as well, if you're that far down on inducements, well, he would suck your SPP as well for a league game as well. So you're not really going to develop your team, and you're going to be left with a slightly better TV for the next game, but no better team, because if you're going to give him the ball, you're not going to get it back.
Yeah, I can't see him being a ball carrier of choice ever. Well, he's going to have loner. He's going to have edge 4+ probably. Like, sure, he might end up with the ball. When he does end up with the ball, sure, he's likely to be unstoppable, as his name says. But he's a point-click removal piece, in theory. Although
at 300k, I could see him being a better edge.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. Let's first of all, do you like the model? I don't think
the model's great.
We've talked about the model.
Model phenomenal, and I love that they have perfectly captured the artwork for it. I always love it when the art and the model line up.
Which way around do you think they do that?
I would guess they do the art first, because it works as like concept art. It makes modeling a bit easier. That's how I would see it.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It is perfect.
Good question.
It is perfect.
Yeah,
I do like the new art style they're going for, where it's more cartoony and just a bit more
that's
chill.
my favorite thing about Blood Bowl. It really is.
And I think you said it as well. The only issue is the artwork's really nice, but we're seeing the artwork now at the same time as we see the mini. So you sort of go straight from the artwork's quite nice, but I'd rather look at the mini. I can understand why we don't see the artwork up front, because we just go straight to the third-party version of the artwork that would.
Well, that is what happened with Ripper, right? They dropped the Ripper artwork miles before the model, and then Brute Fun went and made a model of the artwork, and then Games Workshop made a model of the artwork, and it was like, I already have this. But anyway, on to Nuffle Zone. So this is what they've got for Hthark on their site. They've got all the stats for all the stars, which is quite cool. This one, they flagged it as unofficial, which I thought was quite useful. So Hthark the Unstoppable, movement 6, strength 5, edge 4+, passing nothing, armor 10+. So that's a strength boosted centaur, which is what he used to be. Block, break tackle, sprint, sure feet, thick skull, 300k, favoured of, and he's also Badlands, isn't he? And he's got his unstoppable momentum there. So you're paying 300k for a standard centaur, but strength boosted with the ability to re-roll a block dice. He does come with block. He's got break tackle and bend. Break tackle on a strength 5 piece. That's 2+ open field dodge.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's true actually. Yeah.
Sprint, sure feet kind of negates him being a star a little bit in those regards. Like, I think that's the good thing about having sprint and sure feet is you kind of, well, having sure feet, you get the chance to re-roll. You get that integral re-roll, which means that the first one, at the very least, is always like, well, doesn't matter, these are start, I might as well. So his movement 6 to 9, which I'm a big fan of. Thick skull, very dwarfy. The question is, obviously, these guys are prospecting. I'm assuming he's going to have Loner 4+. Will he have Iron Hard skin as well? Do we think
being the Chaos Dwarf?
Well, is it? Let's go back to the FAQ. Is a bull centaur a Chaos Dwarf?
Oh yeah.
I suspect he
What did
will,
it say about them?
but
In the article, he said that all Chaos Dwarves are going to end up with iron hard skin, right? Was it the article or was it the interview?
It seems like they could, because I don't think it really adds a lot. I don't think it would change him to have it or not, really.
It's just going to stop being fouled a little bit, potentially.
Yeah. I see this guy as like Luther. He seems very similar to Luther. You got a strength 5, no nega trait, blocker, similar price range. He dodges on a 2+. He just doesn't handle the ball, but instead gets a reroll and tankier.
I think that's very, very kind. Luther is undead Griff, whereas this guy is powerful, mighty. I don't think he's going to win you the game. I think he's going to keep you in games. Whereas I think Luther wins you the game. Whereas
because Luther can. You stick the ball on him, and he's never getting
Luther
getting rid of it.
And people. It doesn't even matter what team you're running. Very much like Griff, Trips.
very much. Griff makes a team. You just need 10 other players.
Yeah, hey, worked for the Bucks when they got Brody. Yes, so interesting one for Hthark. The model's wonderful. Like, the model is really good. It's going to be a 4-drop one, so there's going to be a price tag and an availability tag attached to it. But it is a very cool model. Skill-wise...
What is pretty crazy is that there is a consideration of just never taking a Minotaur and just trying to run this guy.
Well, I was going to say, you can use him as your Minotaur model.
Yeah, you could, yeah.
If you've got the money and the availability. So that is Hthark. Yeah, I mean, good, not great is what I'll go with. And I don't think he's going to be overpowered, because 300k prices him out. From a tournament build point of view, Ben, 300k is a monstrous investment in any team, even at 1200, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, if you're running Hobgoblin only Chaos Dwarves, pretty cool. Yeah.
You're giving up potentially a little bit of EV there.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, talking of Hobgoblins, we've got another star. So that was the Stomp. This is the Stab. This is Rashnak Backstabber, not Glashrak Blackhoof. This is Rashnak Backstabber, the stabby Hobgoblin. First things first, what do we think of the model? Then, of course, we'll go look at the artwork, obviously. I reckon
So he said on the
same.
stream this week that, he doesn't stand out too much from Hobgoblins. But the more I look at it, the more I think, actually, he kind of does. Like, he is cool. He is really cool. He looks like a...
Batman of Hobgoblins.
Yeah, he looks like the end boss of a level 1 D&D adventure.
That's fair. Yeah, he's a Goblin Chieftain.
Yeah, he is.
Oh, he's a great model for that.
Yeah.
Oh, this is a cool one where you've got a Blood Bowl model that would actually just make a fantastic RPG model.
Really does.
I mean, I've printed a couple of Brute Funds models for an OPR Goblin army. I've upscaled the cave squig, and I've got one of the cave goblins as my leader. it's nice to see like things swapping over. Like back in the old days, it was always like, let's use Warhammer models and make them Blood Bowl. Now it's like, oh, I'll take these Blood Bowl models and use them for war games. And this would be definitely an angle for that. And do you know what? The artwork is slightly different, and his hat is a different
Yeah.
color.
Yeah, this all makes me think of the artwork first.
Yeah.
Because then they would have seen us like, well, how on earth do we mount that to a base?
Doesn't normally stop him, so I do appreciate the fact that this guy does have 2 feet on the ground. He really does channel the old like Skaven assassin models, so I really like it. And yes, you're right. Actually, looking back at him, he does definitely look more star player than I think I had in my mind. So the view of him being that he's going to be a stab lad, but with Toxin Connoisseur. Once per game, when Rashnak successfully breaks an opposition's player armor as a result of a stab action, you may apply an additional +1 to the injury roll. This may be applied after the roll is made. So he gets almost mighty blow to his stab, but only once per game and once you break armor. Right, it's going to be 130k. So you've got a super stabber with this ability. What do we think of his special power, Toxin Connoisseur?
It's good. Like, it works with dribble and drill. It's really scary. Having mighty blow on an injury, you choose when you use it, and you just, it can be used after the roll is applied. So you just like say, yeah, sure, let's kill you instead of knocking you out.
I mean, as a man who rolls a lot of 7s, Ben, on armor, I don't know if this is all that great. You got to go plop him next to a target and actually hope you get that 44% of chance of breaking 8+ armor. And then,
yeah, but if you're running him, that's your game plan anyway, right?
Yeah,
like,
this has got Adam Pike written all over it. Like,
yeah,
he's not as good as the Black Goblin, but Trips, you know better than anybody. If you try and break someone's armor and you get a player left next to yours afterwards, what happens?
They definitely get fouls.
It's going to be an interesting one.
And that's what you get with where it's a plus to the injury roll only. It's a good, not great special rule.
Yeah.
It's when it works, it's going to be great, and when it doesn't, it's going to be one of those you go, if only I could have used that.
Yeah. I think you're right. I think if they'd done the armor, it might have been. No, it would have been very scary, and he's priced cheap-ish at 130. So Rashnak Backstabber. This again is Nuffle Zone. This is what they put together based on his old stats. Movement 7, so movement better than a Hobgoblin. Strength 3, Edge 3+, passing nothing, armor 8+, all standard Hobgoblin stats. Dodge, sidestep, sneaky git, stab, stunty, loner 3+. I don't know where they're getting loner 3+ from. So I mean, sure, maybe. Like, I don't think that really is a massive.
Do any stars have loner 3+?
Yeah. Griff and I think Deep Root maybe. Oh, I'll tell you what.
Okay.
Puggy has got loner 3+ as well.
3+?
Yeah.
I thought he just rerolls everything himself anyway.
There's Ripper. Oof, 250 for Ripper, and he's strength 6.
Yeah, he's good.
Versus Hathark.
Yeah, he's cheap.
And this guy can throw teammate. Ripper. Ripper's where it's at. So
I think.
Go.
Yeah, so what I was going to say with Rashnak is like, if these stats are like, if he's movement 7 with dodge and sidestep, he gives actually a pretty affordable ball carry option for Chaos Dwarfs. And that's actually at a reasonable price. Like, you can probably, I don't know if you would, but drop a Bull Centaur and you can take him instead.
If you're down a Bull Centaur as well, or you need that. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's that's quite a significant upgrade for a ball carry.
Yeah,
plus movement dodge.
Edge 3+ dodge, that movement 7 is fast. Yeah. Like, that falls into the fast category.
Yeah.
Bull Centaur is medium speed, I reckon.
Yeah, I was just thinking that 130 value, because of the teams that you can take him for. You will want him to have almost that secondary purpose of not just stand there and stab. You want him to be able to do something else in case the stab doesn't work. So
Skitter is 150k. He can play for Underworld and Favoured of. So I don't know. So this guy's the Badlands Brawl version of Skitter. Obviously, I'm biased as heck when it comes to Skitter because he's Skaven. But
they get Favoured of, I don't know. They get as Chaos Wolves.
But we don't know. The article for this guy just says Badlands Brawl.
Oh yeah, for him, yeah.
So okay. So we don't know.
Yeah, but Chorfs get it though, don't they? I think they said that in the
Chorfs get Badlands. But yeah, so for a Chorf team, he's going to be a budget ball carrying star with a bit of dodge and sneaky git could be fun. If you get
I
guard
think when
doesn't
we
work
talk
anymore.
about stars, we've got to just pretend Skitter doesn't exist because it just makes everything too redundant.
Hey, there used to be Hack Flem, right? And then the star player.
Yeah,
Skitters.
now you've got a cheaper one.
Skitter's got to hit superstar come November.
It's just it's a real issue. Is it just kind of trivializes things sometimes? Like,
Yeah,
I
why
feel like there's
not?
got to be more restriction.
I would love to see
Skitter's
Games
been
Workshop
like a
adjust the
staple.
prices of these stars. That just feels like the most obvious thing to do. Like Skitter, he's played really well. He's really good. Make him 200k. He's still
Yeah.
good.
Well,
He's just
even 30k more would just make him that little bit harder to squeeze into a number of rosters.
They did it with Morg. They did it with Hack Flem. Although I will say not enough with Hack Flem. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it would be easier to do that way than the star player tax than the mega star.
Yeah, I
thing.
agree. I agree.
That would be something
Feels a
I'd
bit
do.
better.
Yeah, hey, we're not Games Workshop. So, Rashnak, 130k, ball carrying, stabbing lad. Trips, was it you just said like having a second option, like having stab be a plan B it is good.
Or having the ball carrier option as opposed to all he can do is stab. The exception I would give is unless he gets multi-block, which would be lovely, but I don't think
That would be quite cool.
30k. But if he got multi-block and stab, then you're literally just throwing him in to die, but stab everything along the way.
He has got 2 knives.
He does have
He
2
does.
knives. He does. That
And then
would be.
him being 2 knives.
So does Skitter though.
Yeah, but
One thing I do love about this model is he's got the same Blood Bowl socks. There you go. He's got the same Blood Bowl socks as Scylla and Fingering.
The Dunlop Sports Direct.
I love it. I think it's wicked. That's just my favourite little nugget. I was like, one of the first things I noticed. I was like, he's got Scylla's socks on.
I really like this. I love that they do like the sports socks and the trainers and stuff. It looks so good. That's where it's like you might, if you're using him as your D&D boss, you got to just pretend he doesn't have the like Adidas trainers.
He's got barely any trainers left. It's fine.
That's true.
So that's true. No, it's wicked. So those are the 2 star players we've seen so far. I tell you what, let's check Nuffle Zone and see if they've got Mad Eye. No, they don't. That would have been interesting. No, probably should have done a bit of pre-work on that one, Ben, and had his stats. But
they have Prince Moranian on there.
I think so. Yeah.
When did he come back?
He's not back. Oh, is he in Blood Bowl 3?
Oh, is he in Blood Bowl 3?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna say, I love that guy.
I'm more a fan of the Sure Hands Aspirin Thorn. Like that guy was just unnecessary. Like absolutely wicked. Cool. Right. Wrap up then. These 2 stars, big fans?
I wouldn't say big fans.
Medium
fans.
Medium fans.
Yeah, they're fine. It's like the case with a lot of stars. They're fine.
I think the models
I like
are wonderful.
Yeah,
Yes.
I like a star with stab because it's different and it's unusual and you're going to use it because of the story, not because you go that is the thing that you must use and it will always win you the game.
Yes.
A star at 300k is nice.
That's what we call in the Magic world a build around.
Yeah, yeah. You probably will speak more about it in thinking about rosters than you will ever see it.
Well, Varag is like he's a bruiser star, right? Who is really good, and people take Varag instead of a troll. So Ben, your point of do I run him instead of a Minotaur? You've got no nega trait, you've got no frenzy trap. He's got block already, and he's got that 3rd die. I can see that angle from a roster building point of view, but 300k is an investment. And Chorfs are not renowned for being cheap teams. So, going to be an interesting one to see. So, do we reckon we'll see the next star next week?
I hope so. Be good fun. I'm excited for that one.
This feels like more of an older release, like more of the old school method of release. Gnomes was just like, have it.
Yeah. My fingers are crossed that it's not going to be another one that's just like shooting the ball. I want to shoot a player. That's what I want. You can make it a secret weapon that you just shoot someone. That feels way more Chaos Dwarf than shooting the bull.
That's how Thorsten Stoutmead happened, right? Like that's what he does. He throws barrels. He
true,
goes
the
full on
Donkey
Donkey
Kong,
Kong. Oh, Trips, absolute lad. There we go. Let's put that on the screen. Boop. This is the old card for Zarg Mad Eye from the old edition. Like this is this was I don't want to say third edition because sort of it was third edition. This was the blue box game, right?
Oh, actual cards.
Yeah, good times. Movement 5, Strength 3, Agility 2, which would give him a 4+ in this edition. Armor 9, which would give him a 10+ in this edition. Block, Tackle, Thick Skull. At one point, I think Zarg was Strength 4 as well. I think it was a bit obscene. So,
Oh, really?
if this is the shooter star that's written on the front cover of the Spike magazine, whether he's going to land at Strength 4 or not, given a Strength 4, maybe. Well, he's got Blunderbuss there, which I think would probably translate into some kind of secret weapon. Because I think
Hail Mary Pass or something.
what's his name? The dwarf one's got secret weapon, hasn't he?
Oh, the
yeah, but it's like a thrower.
Yeah, I can see this. Yes, hopefully it will be something slightly different. Although the artwork does have him shooting a ball, so
Yeah, I know.
your wishes might be granted here, Ben.
Yeah.
Or strictly not. Right, wicked. I think we'll wrap up there, guys, and maybe we'll have a Thursday Blood Bowl article. I doubt it because we've had one article this week for them. But come on, it's this anxiety of like, when are we going to get information? When are we going to get information? I want to get them to the pitch. But if they could kindly wait until the end of the Bonehead Championship, that would be all right too. Anyway, Trips, BT, thank you very much for hanging out and playing some Blood Bowl. Talking some Blood Bowl and also playing Blood Bowl. We're going to wrap up. Thank you very much for watching. We'll be back soon with more Blood Bowl content. Happy blocking. Thanks very much for watching. We really appreciate your support. If you want to support the channel even further, please like and subscribe. It really does help us out. Or come join us on YouTube Members or in Patreon, where you can get exclusive access to some content, some loot, early access to basically everything we do, as well as regular competitions. Or you can pick up some Bonehead Podcast loot either on our website at boneheadpodcast.com. We've got the Dungeon Bowl things, we've got tokens and stuff like that, or on our Spreadshirt site as well. Everything you do just helps us make more content and hopefully do it of better quality. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Happy blocking.